Stoicism and happiness, what the philosophers knew. Imagine living a fulfilled life where happiness isn't tied to material possessions, what others think of you, or external events beyond your control. For the Stoics, such a life was not only possible but achievable by focusing on how we handle our emotions, desires, and attitudes. Today, we'll dive into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and explore how this philosophy can teach us to find genuine happiness, even amidst the challenges of modern life. Happiness, in the Stoic view, is not a fleeting state, but a continuous journey rooted in virtues and a profound understanding of who we are. They believed that the secret to a well-lived life lies in cultivating resilience, self-control, and wisdom. After all, how can we be truly happy if we allow our inner peace to depend on factors beyond our control? To begin, it's important to clarify what Stoicism really means. Many people mistake this philosophy for apathy or emotional detachment. However, Stoic philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius reveal that Stoicism is a powerful tool for navigating the complexities of human existence. They teach us to distinguish between what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, and what we cannot, other people's opinions, unpredictable events, and even the toughest circumstances in life. This understanding is liberating and transforms our relationship with the world and, consequently, with happiness. The practice of Stoicism starts with recognizing that true happiness cannot be found in external things like wealth, fame, or material success. These may bring temporary pleasure, but do not provide the lasting peace we seek. The Stoics argued that happiness is directly tied to virtues, courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. Developing these virtues makes us independent of external circumstances, allowing us to find contentment even in challenging situations. Epictetus, for example, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that what truly affects us isn't the event itself, but our judgment of it. Let's imagine a common scenario. You're stuck in traffic and start feeling angry and frustrated. This negative reaction isn't caused by the traffic itself, but by your judgment that the situation is bad and intolerable. Stoicism invites us to change our perspective and see such situations in a new light. Perhaps traffic is an opportunity to practice patience or listen to an inspiring podcast. With this mindset, we turn something seemingly negative into a chance for growth and learning. Another central aspect of Stoicism is the idea of living in harmony with nature, which includes both the world around us and our human nature. For the Stoics, this means accepting things as they are instead of fighting against them or wishing they were different. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reminds us of the importance of embracing the present and doing our best within the circumstances we face. After all, resisting what we cannot change is a waste of energy and only increases our suffering. The pursuit of happiness is also deeply connected to gratitude. Too often, we spend so much time focusing on what we lack that we forget to appreciate what we already have. The Stoics encourage us to practice gratitude daily, recognizing that every small moment, challenge, and achievement is part of a larger journey. When we develop this mindset, happiness ceases to be a distant goal and becomes a constant part of our experience. A simple yet transformative Stoic practice is the exercise of negative visualization. This method involves imagining scenarios where the things we value are taken from us, either temporarily or permanently. It might seem counterintuitive, but the goal isn't to generate fear or anxiety. It's to help us appreciate more deeply what we have. For example, by imagining what it would be like to lose an important relationship, we learn to cherish the people in our lives even more. This practice mentally prepares us to cope with real losses and strengthens our resilience. Another important pillar of Stoicism is the concept of amor fati, or love of fate. This idea invites us to accept everything that happens in our lives as part of a greater plan, even the difficulties. This doesn't mean we should be passive or stop striving for improvement, but rather that we should learn to face challenges with courage and optimism. Stoicism teaches us that even the hardest moments can hold valuable lessons that help us grow and become stronger. Finally, The Stoics remind us that happiness is an inner state that no one can take from us. No matter what happens around us, we always have the power to choose how to respond. This is true freedom and the foundation for a fulfilled life. By adopting Stoic teachings, we can transform our lives, develop a deeper sense of purpose, and discover happiness that transcends circumstances. How many times have you wondered what happiness truly is? The Stoics show us that it isn't something we can find in the external world, but something we cultivate within ourselves. Now, I ask you, what are the biggest challenges you face in your pursuit of happiness? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know your perspective. I'm curious to see how you apply Stoic teachings to your life. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who could benefit from this message. Together, we can build a community of reflection and personal growth. Let's continue. Another fascinating aspect of Stoicism is how it addresses emotions and the challenges we face daily. For the Stoics, emotions like anger, envy, or anxiety aren't enemies to be eliminated, but important signals about how we're interpreting events around us. They believed that by understanding these emotions and the thoughts that trigger them, we can learn to respond more wisely and with greater balance. For instance, think of a moment when you felt anxious about a presentation or an important meeting. Anxiety often arises because we fear a negative outcome, being judged, making mistakes, or failing to meet expectations. The Stoics teach us that by examining these fears and questioning whether they are truly within our control, we can neutralize anxiety before it overtakes us. After all, we can control our preparation and attitude, but the final outcome isn't always in our hands. With this mindset, we can replace anxiety with calm and confidence. Another major Stoic teaching is the principle of accepting the impermanence of life. They believed that everything is in constant flux and that nothing lasts forever, whether good moments or bad ones. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should accept everything that happens as natural and temporary. This understanding helps us better cope with losses, failures, and even the passage of time. By embracing impermanence, we learn to value the present and let go of excessive attachment to things that will eventually fade away. The Stoics also emphasize the power of focusing on the present. Too often, we worry about the future or dwell on the past, forgetting to fully live in the moment. Epictetus reminds us, what worries us most is not what happens, but how we react to it. This is an invitation to set aside anxiety about what is yet to come and guilt or regret about what has already passed, channeling our energy into the here and now. This idea of presence is fundamental to Stoic happiness. When we live in the present, we can enjoy the small joys we often overlook, a meaningful conversation, a moment of silence, or even the satisfaction of completing a task well. Stoicism teaches us that happiness isn't found in grand achievements or extraordinary moments, but in the simple experiences of everyday life, which we often take for granted. Additionally, the Stoics believed in cultivating healthy and meaningful relationships. They understood that life in society is essential for our happiness and that our interactions with others should be guided by virtues like empathy, patience, and justice. When we treat others with respect and seek to understand their perspectives, we strengthen our bonds and create an environment of cooperation and harmony. However, this doesn't mean we should strive to please everyone or allow others to control us. Stoicism reminds us that we are responsible for our own actions and choices and that we shouldn't let others' opinions determine our worth. Seneca advises us to seek the approval of our own conscience above all, because in the end, that's what truly matters. Another powerful Stoic concept is the idea of memento mori, which means remember that you will die. While it may sound grim, this reflection on mortality is actually a tool for living a more meaningful life. By remembering that our time is limited, we start to value our days more and focus on what truly matters. Instead of wasting energy on trivial worries or unnecessary conflicts, we choose to invest our time in activities and relationships that bring us joy and purpose. The Stoics also believed that practicing self-compassion is essential to happiness. While they emphasized discipline and self-control, they understood that no one is perfect and that making mistakes is part of learning. When we treat ourselves with kindness and acknowledge that we're doing the best we can, we become more resilient and confident. After all, Stoicism isn't about being immune to failure, but about learning from it and continuing to move forward. Finally, Stoic philosophy invites us to live with purpose. This means aligning our actions with our values and seeking a greater meaning in everything we do. For the Stoics, a well-lived life is one where we dedicate ourselves to self-improvement, serving others, and pursuing the greater good. When we live according to these principles, we experience a happiness that isn't shaken by external circumstances, but comes from a profound sense of fulfillment and connection to the world around us. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these Stoic teachings resonated most with you? Have you ever applied any of these principles in your life? Leave your comment below and share your experience. Your perspective could inspire others who are seeking happiness and balance. Also, if you're enjoying this content, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss upcoming videos. Each interaction helps build a community that values reflection and personal growth. Building on Stoicism, another fundamental aspect of the pursuit of happiness is the practice of resilience. The Stoics believed that while we cannot control what happens to us, we have complete control over how we choose to face life's challenges. This resilient mindset allows us to transform obstacles into opportunities for growth. Epictetus, for example, said, "Difficulties are things that show us who we are." This phrase reminds us that adversities, far from defeating us, can serve as fertile ground for developing our virtues. Think of a time when you faced a significant challenge. Perhaps you lost a job, went through a personal crisis, or dealt with health issues. While these moments are undoubtedly tough, they often teach us valuable lessons about ourselves, what we truly value, and how we can become stronger. Stoicism encourages us to see every difficulty as a chance to practice virtue. For example, a conflict may provide an opportunity to exercise patience and empathy. A period of financial hardship can teach us to appreciate what truly matters and to live more simply. When we adopt this perspective, we begin to see that even the most challenging moments have a purpose and that happiness can be found in how we face those challenges. Another powerful Stoic teaching is the concept of the dichotomy of control. This idea, briefly touched on earlier, is so central to Stoicism that it's worth exploring further. The dichotomy of control invites us to divide life's aspects into two categories: what is within our control and what is beyond it. Our peace of mind depends on focusing only on what we can control, our actions, our words, our choices, and letting go of what we cannot change. For instance, imagine you're preparing for an important exam. You can control how much you study, the quality of your preparation, and your dedication. However, you cannot control the specific questions on the test or how the examiner grades your answers. By accepting this reality and focusing solely on what's within your power, you reduce stress and increase your chances of a positive outcome. This principle applies to all areas of life. If a job opportunity doesn't work out, you can choose to dwell on the disappointment or use the situation as motivation to seek new alternatives. If a relationship ends, you can remain stuck in suffering or focus on the lessons and growth that the experience provided. This shift in mindset isn't easy, but it's liberating. Additionally, the Stoics advocated for daily habits that reinforce the pursuit of happiness and balance. Morning meditations or evening reflections were common practices among them. During these moments, they would review their actions, examine their thoughts, and mentally prepare for whatever the next day might bring. These practices of self-evaluation help us stay aligned with our values and correct our shortcomings before they become harmful habits. Seneca said we should live each day as if it were our last. This doesn't mean living recklessly or irresponsibly, but rather appreciating each moment and interaction as something unique. How often do we go through our days on autopilot without truly noticing what's happening around us? Stoicism challenges us to be present and to live with intention, recognizing the preciousness of each instant. One of the greatest gifts of Stoicism is the sense of inner freedom it provides. When we stop relying on external factors for our happiness, we become truly free. It doesn't matter if we're facing financial difficulties, criticism, or health challenges. we can always find a sense of purpose and balance within ourselves. Now, I'd like to propose a simple exercise. Think of something that has been worrying you recently. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, practice Stoic detachment and focus your energy on what you can do to improve the situation or better cope with it. This exercise, when practiced regularly, can transform how you view life and increase your ability to find happiness, even in difficult times. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What has been your biggest insight so far about Stoicism and happiness? Is there a specific teaching that you feel you can immediately apply to your life? Leave your comment below. Your participation not only helps me understand what resonated with you, but also encourages others to reflect and share their own experiences. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, as we're just beginning to explore the transformative impact of Stoicism on our lives. Stoicism also teaches us the value of a life guided by reason and discernment. The Stoic philosophers believed that reason was the greatest gift given to humanity and that it differentiates us from other living beings. When we use our ability to think clearly and logically, we are able to make wiser decisions that align with our values. This rational approach is essential for finding happiness, as it prevents us from being dominated by impulses or fleeting emotions. Let's think about a practical situation. Imagine receiving harsh criticism at work or school. The natural reaction might be to feel hurt, angry, or even demotivated. However, Stoicism invites us to pause and analyze the situation calmly. Is this criticism valid? Is there something you can learn from it? Or is it simply a projection of the other person's frustrations? By adopting a rational stance, you transform what could be a moment of inner conflict into an opportunity for growth and self-awareness. Additionally, the Stoics valued simplicity and moderation. For them, the relentless pursuit of external pleasures or the accumulation of material goods is a trap that leads us away from true happiness. This doesn't mean we should give up all the good things in life, but rather that we should appreciate what we have without becoming slaves to incessant desires. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. In other words, by adjusting our mindset to value what is essential and less what is superfluous, we create a solid foundation for a fuller and more satisfying life. An interesting exercise for this is the practice of voluntary deprivation, recommended by the Stoics. This practice consists of, from time to time, giving up something we value in order to test our resilience and reduce our dependence on external comforts. For example, you might spend a day without using social media, sleep in a less comfortable place, or even have a simple and frugal meal. By practicing voluntary deprivation, we realize that we can be happy even without what we once thought was indispensable, and we become more grateful for what we have. Another essential point of Stoicism is the power of purpose. For the Stoics, a life without purpose is a life without direction. They believed that every person has a unique role to play in the universe, and that, by aligning our actions with this purpose, we find a greater meaning to our existence. This purpose doesn't need to be grand or complex. It could be as simple as helping those around us, contributing to our community, or continually striving to become better than we were yesterday. This pursuit of purpose is deeply connected to the idea of living according to virtue. The Stoics teach us that by prioritizing values like justice, honesty, and compassion in our daily choices, we create a solid foundation for happiness that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Moreover, the practice of Stoicism is not something that needs to be done in isolation. Often, we tend to think of happiness as an individual pursuit, but the Stoics emphasize the importance of human relationships. They believed that we are social beings by nature and that our connection with others is an essential part of our personal fulfillment. When we help someone, offer a word of support, or act altruistically, we are not just doing good for others, but also cultivating our own happiness. However, it's important to balance this connection with others with the ability to maintain our emotional autonomy. The Stoics argued that we should love and care for those around us, but without becoming dependent on their approval or reactions. This allows us to build healthier and more balanced relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Now, I'd like to leave an invitation for reflection. Have you ever stopped to think about your purpose? What motivates you to wake up every day and keep moving forward, even when things get tough? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story may inspire others who are searching for purpose and happiness. And of course, if this content is helping you see life from a new perspective, feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with someone who might benefit from this message. Together, we are creating a space for learning, reflection, and personal growth. Another crucial concept in Stoicism is that of mental tranquility, or ataraxia. For the Stoics, this state of inner calm is the true goal of a well-lived life. But how can we achieve it? The answer lies in learning to harmonize our expectations with reality, accepting things as they are, without letting frustrations divert us from our balance. Imagine that you've planned a perfect event. Everything is organized, guests confirmed, and you're excited. However, on the day, it starts raining heavily, and some of your plans have to change. Instead of panicking or getting upset, Stoicism invites us to accept the unexpected and adapt our expectations. After all, we cannot control the weather, but we can choose how to react. This ability to adjust our expectations to external circumstances protects us from unnecessary disappointments and allows us to find serenity even amid chaos. This search for tranquility is also deeply connected to the practice of detachment. For the Stoics, excessive attachment to people, things, or specific outcomes is one of the greatest sources of human suffering. They remind us that everything is transient, and by cultivating an attitude of gratitude for what we have without clinging desperately to it, we find a freedom that brings us closer to true happiness. A practical example of Stoic detachment is the way we handle relationships. Often, we place unrealistic expectations on our partners, friends, or family members, hoping they will satisfy all our emotional needs or behave exactly as we wish. When this inevitably doesn't happen, we feel frustration or even resentment. Stoicism teaches us to appreciate people for who they are, without trying to control them, and to find happiness in being the best version of ourselves within these relationships. Another aspect that the Stoics deeply valued was the idea of living in harmony with nature. This concept might seem abstract at first, but it refers to accepting the natural laws that govern the universe. The Stoics believed that nature is rational, and by aligning our actions with its laws, such as impermanence, interdependence, and the constant flow of change, we can live in a more authentic and harmonious way. Think about how exhausting it can be to resist change. We try to hold on to time, avoid loss, or prevent something from ending, but in the end, this only causes us suffering. By accepting that change is an inevitable part of life, we become more resilient and capable of appreciating each phase with gratitude and presence. Reflection on death, mentioned earlier as memento mori, also connects us to this harmony with nature. By remembering that our existence is finite, we begin to prioritize what truly matters, letting go of trivial disputes and irrelevant worries. This understanding helps us live each day with more purpose and value the time we have with the people we love. The Stoics also teach us the importance of a sense of duty. For them, every individual has a unique role in the world, and embracing this responsibility with dignity is one of the greatest paths to personal fulfillment. This can mean many things: being a good friend, contributing to your community, or simply doing your job with dedication and ethics. When we commit to our duty, we find a sense of meaning that strengthens us in the face of difficulties. Now, I'd like to ask you a question that may help you reflect on this. What role do you feel you are destined to fulfill? It could be something related to your profession, your family, or even a personal dream. Share in the comments. I'm sure your story can inspire others who are also searching for purpose and direction. Finally, one of the greatest lessons Stoicism offers is the idea that happiness is a choice. It's not something that is in the hands of fate, circumstances, or other people. It's a conscious decision we make by adopting a positive attitude, seeking virtue, and focusing on what truly matters. This is a powerful and transformative message, especially in a world that often tries to convince us that happiness depends on external things. If this video helped you see life in a different way, I'd love to hear your opinion. Which part of Stoicism impacted you the most? Do you already practice any of these ideas in your daily life? Leave your comment, because I read every one of them, and I'm eager to hear how this philosophy resonates with you. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Hit the like button, share this video with someone you believe might benefit from these reflections, and click the bell to not miss future content. Your interaction makes all the difference and helps spread this message to even more people. Another central idea in Stoicism worth exploring is the concept of eudaimonia, which can be translated as flourishing or a full life. For the Stoics, true happiness is not found in fleeting pleasures or external achievements, but in living a life that is in harmony with our nature as rational and social beings. This means that the path to eudaimonia involves cultivating virtues like courage, wisdom, justice, and self-control, regardless of external circumstances. This concept challenges us to redefine what we consider success and happiness. Often, we are conditioned to believe that being successful means accumulating wealth, status, or power. However, the Stoics argue that these goals are fleeting and beyond our control. Instead, we should focus on what is within our reach, living with integrity, making decisions based on our values, and treating others with kindness and respect. Imagine, for example, a scenario where you experience a professional failure. According to conventional standards, this might be seen as a devastating setback. But from the Stoic perspective, true failure is not losing a job or a contract, but compromising your values in the process. If you maintained your honesty, worked with dedication, and treated others with respect, then you were successful, regardless of the outcome. Another fundamental aspect of eudaimonia is the practice of gratitude. For the Stoics, being grateful is not just an exercise in positive thinking, but a way of training the mind to focus on what we have rather than what is missing. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently expressed gratitude for the people around him, for the lessons he learned, and for the opportunities to grow as a human being. We can practice gratitude in various ways in our daily lives. By writing in a journal, reflecting before bed on 3 things we are grateful for, or simply expressing sincere appreciation to the people in our lives. When we cultivate this habit, we realize that happiness is more accessible than we think. It lies in the small moments of connection, the lessons learned, and even the challenges overcome. Another pillar of Stoicism is the practice of premeditatio malorum, or anticipation of misfortune. This exercise involves rationally imagining the possible challenges and difficulties we may face, not as a way to foster pessimism, but to prepare ourselves emotionally and mentally. By practicing premeditatio malorum, we become more resilient, as we are ready to handle the unexpected without being overwhelmed by panic or surprise. For example, before an important trip, you might reflect on what could go wrong: delays, lost luggage, changes in the itinerary. By doing this, you prepare for these possibilities, reducing the emotional impact if something happens. Additionally, this practice helps us appreciate even more when everything goes as planned, cultivating a sense of gratitude for what works well. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of seeking personal excellence continuously. For them, there is no endpoint in the journey of growth. Every day, we are invited to be better than we were yesterday, whether in the way we treat others, the way we manage our emotions, or the way we pursue our goals. This pursuit of excellence is not about competing with others, but about overcoming our own limitations and becoming the best version of ourselves. I'd like to ask you, what aspect of your life do you feel you can pursue more excellence in? It could be in work, studies, relationships, or even self-care. Leave your answer in the comments and share your journey. Your story might be the motivation someone else needs to begin their own transformation. Also, if this video is making sense to you, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this content with friends. Every interaction you have is a step toward expanding this community of people committed to seeking a more conscious and meaningful life. Stoicism reminds us that happiness is not something we need to conquer or seek out there, but in how we choose to live and face life. It is a daily commitment to our values, to virtue, and to accepting things as they are. It's about learning to find serenity in adversity, joy in simplicity, and meaning in every action. Remember that the power to transform your life is in your hands. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Start today by applying a bit of Stoicism to your daily life. Whether by observing your thoughts, reflecting on what's within your control, or simply appreciating the present moment. Small changes can have a huge impact. Now, I want to hear from you. Which idea from Stoicism resonated with you the most? Do you think this philosophy can help transform the way you view life's challenges? Leave your response in the comments. Your participation is essential for us to continue growing together. So, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click the subscribe button now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. Leave a like and share this video with someone who could benefit from these reflections. Thank you for being here and for being part of this journey. Until the next video, and remember, live with purpose, with virtue, and with balance. That's Stoicism, and that's happiness.